Hello boys and girls, and welcome to lesson 5-3, comparing and ordering fractions. Ordering meaning putting them in order from least to greatest, okay? In order to be able to do that, we first have to know how to compare them. We must compare them to see which one is greater and which one is less, okay? So let's get right to it. Please turn to page 129 of your math journal, and let's take a look how to compare fractions. There are three ways that we can work with fractions and try to compare them, or three skills that we can learn to comparing fractions, and they are the following. 1. Find the landmarks for each fraction. Is it closer to 0, half, or a whole? By landmarks, we're saying, remember to use the 0, the half, and the whole as landmarks. Let's see. 3/8, is it closer to 0 or half? Well, we understand that 4/8 is the half. Okay, so we can say that this is just under the half. Okay, what's another one that's just under the half? Do we have any? Well, this one's pretty close to half because we just said 4/8 is half, but this one is just over half. So we know this one is less than this one. Okay. Find the LCD, the lowest common denominator, for each fraction and change the fractions so they all have the same denominator. Well, these three have 8 and this one has 4. I can change them all. I could change this one to 2/8, right? This one, I double the top and I double the bottom, 2 and 8. Now they all have the same denominator, and that would be easiest. Here's our lowest, our second lowest, our third lowest, and our highest. Okay, quite easy. Third one, look for the fraction with the greatest denominator. It has the smallest value. The greatest denominator, well, this one has the same ones, but we understand that these are worth less because the denominator is higher, just like those slices of pizza we talked about in class. This pizza is cut into 8 slices, so one slice is going to be smaller. This one is cut into 4 slices, so this slice is definitely more bigger than this one, as you can see here. Because if we were to cut it into 8 slices, now our one slice became 2. Okay? So these are 3 different ways you can experiment with fractions to see and compare the greatest, or the least to the greatest. Okay, let's look at the questions on page 129. Okay, for the top of page 129, we have to work with landmarks. Reading the instructions. Decide whether each of these measurements is closer to the benchmark, or like we said, what was it, benchmark or landmarks. Benchmark and landmarks are the same. But benchmark, is it closer to 0, half, or 1, a whole? Circle the closest benchmark. Okay, let's see. 15/16. Wow, we only need one more to have a whole. Is it closer to 0? Is it closer to half or the whole? Okay, boys and girls, circle the whole. Okay, we are only missing one more right there to have our whole. So it's very, very close. Okay, you can put over here, put a little smiley face like that. That is one key answer. Okay, number 9. On the same page. For each problem below, write the fractions in order from least to greatest. Now remember, we can look for benchmarks or landmarks, okay, on there. I can see that 1/25 is a very tiny number, 1/25. 9/20 is just under half, because if 10/20 would be half. Let's make that a little bigger for everyone to see. 4/10 is just under half as well, okay? And 3/5 is just over half. So if I had to choose, okay, the only one I'm having a hard time with is this one because they're both just under half. But why don't we go ahead and make them the same denominator, okay? I can make this one 20 and this one 20, right? Because that would be their common denominator. I didn't have to do anything to this 9, so it stays as a 9 right here. But this one I had to double. The 10 I had to double, so I must double the 4, 2, and 8. Okay? So as you can see, boys and girls, 8/20 is less than 9/20. So we know that this one right here is our smallest because it has the largest denominator and it only has a single one. Okay? Over here is our second highest, okay, because it's less than half. This one is also less than half, barely. And this one is just over half because half of 5 is 2.5. So we know that this one's just over half. Okay? So let's go ahead and write in our answer. Okay? For your key answer, boys and girls, I want you to add this section here. Okay? Right there. Add that and write your answer. So we just said that 1/25 is the smallest, and then 4/10, and then 9/20, and 3/5, which is the only one that's over half. Okay, another smiley face right on question number 9. Those are 2 key answers so far. Let's continue. For the next page, we have to flip our book around over like this so that we can work with it. So go ahead and flip your book. For the top part of the page, we're simply filling out, we took 2 inches, okay, from 0, okay, to 1 to 2, and we broke them up into quarters, or in halves. So here's 1, so then we broke that into half over here, and then into quarters. But if I break the 1, or simply 1, 2, or 1 and 1, you see that? 1 and 1. And then we start breaking them halves, thirds, quarters, fifths, sixths, sevenths. You can see that it starts to get smaller and smaller when it's 1/16. So 1/16 is very small compared to 1/3 or 1/2. See, boys and girls, we drew these in class as practice. Okay? Just to give you a visual of how smaller it gets when the denominator, right there, when the denominator continues to get bigger. Okay? The unit on the top gets smaller. Let's start with number 10. We are being asked to give equivalent fractions, and here we're going from a mixed number to an improper fraction, mixed number to an improper fraction, mixed number. Whoa, what's going on here? Let's see. Well, we'll explain that in a minute. Okay, so let's look here. We have, they're both out of 5, and this is the mixed number, so we know that we have a whole plus another 3. Okay, so 1 and 3/5 to the next whole. So it's not quite 2. So in order to convert it, we simply take the denominator and we multiply by the whole number, and then we take that number and we add it to the numerator. Okay, right there. So let's try that. 5 times 1 equals 5, plus 3 equals 8. Okay, moving on. We notice here that it's out of 2 and this is out of 8. Okay, so we must convert the mixed number right here to an improper fraction. And we know that we have 2 times 1 equals 2 plus 1 is 3. So our fraction is 3/2. Well, what must I do to this 2 to make it 8? I must multiply it by 4. I need to do the same to the 3. Multiply the 3 by 4. And that's going to give you 3 times 4 equals 12. Okay? Let's see, is that right? Well, let's see. 12/8, right? Let's just take it over here for 1 second. I want to reduce this fraction, or I want to change it to a mixed number. How many 8s are in 12? Well, 1. What do I have left over? 4. Okay? Because from 8 to 12 there's 4 over 8. Oh, there you have it, boys and girls. This is a half. So it actually equals 1.5. As you can see, half. And there's our answer. Okay, let's do the third one. Let's start by changing this one. Okay, let's change it to an improper fraction. 4 times 1 equals 4 plus 3 is 7 over 4. Okay. What must I do to the 4 to make it 16? 4 times 4, right? 4 times 4. So we must do the same to the 7. 7 times 4 equals 28. There you go. Okay. Boys and girls, go ahead and make a little, let's say, this is a key answer. Let's put a little star right on it, right there. Okay? Right there. This is another key answer. Continuing on.